Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our INL Supplier Engagement webinar. This is our 11th webinar that we've had since we launched this series last June. So we've been at it a year, and we're glad you joined us. Again, for those repeat offenders, we're glad to have you back, and for those who are new, we're glad to have you join us as well. So joining me today is Juan Alvarez, who's our Deputy Lab Director, and Michelle Wiest, who is our Acquisition and Contracts Management Director. And these two are joining me because we have a really exciting topic that we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about the Mentor Protege program and the fact that Battelle Energy Alliance is preparing right now to put in a Mentor Protege agreement in place. So applications are currently being accepted. You can find the application form out on our website at procurement.inl.gov. And Michelle Goff, you may want to drop that in the chat for folks to be able to get to. It's under the opportunities tab on the web page, so you can find that application there. That is the application that needs to be returned to me by June 30th. So take a look at that. It's the DOE headquarters form, so it's going to have all the questions that DOE typically asks for Mentor Protege applications, and then it just gets sent to me instead of to DOE headquarters, and that email address is on there. But we want to welcome you again today. If you have any questions, drop them in the questions box of the tool package there, and we will be asking those questions as we go along. So with that, I'm going to kick it off to Juan. And Juan, my first question to you is, what is the value of a Mentor Protege program, and why are we doing it now?
Well, thank you, Stacy. So first, good morning to you, and good morning to all of our listeners. Welcome to this webinar. I'm really looking forward to the dialogue and the exchange of information. So the Mentor Protege program provides us an opportunity to start building more strategic partnerships with our small business community. It gives us the opportunity to frankly build capability that is very well suited to support the supply chain needs of the Idaho National Laboratory well into the future. So why now? If you look at the laboratory from the beginnings in 2005, when Battelle Energy Alliance became the management and operating contractor for the laboratory, we were essentially in a rebuilding mode. The laboratory was formed from the merger of the former Argonne National Laboratory Wiest and the Idaho National Engineering and Environmental Lab. And for many years, there had been a significant underinvestment in both programmatically and in capabilities across the laboratory. So our access to small businesses and community was very limited, as we ourselves were just trying to rebuild into a world-class laboratory. Now, 15 years into that journey, we have grown tremendously. We probably have grown almost 3 times what the initial revenue were for this laboratory, and we are starting to now move into a different phase in our own personal development as a laboratory, and I think we need a different kind of partnerships with our small businesses that go beyond the transaction, the individual request or individual need, to become more strategic, where they become partners with us in innovation, where they become partners with us in developing the next level of capabilities. So more mission focused. And so I think the opportunity is now, because we're at that kind of a crossroads for us as we're growing even more, and as we're, again, in that second phase of our own strategy, moving from rebuilding a laboratory to really having a significant impact in the nation in the work we do.
That's great. So what are some of the areas that we're looking for a protege? I know that everybody who's been reaching out to me and asking me, well, are you looking for specific areas, specific NAICS codes? Is there something specific that you're looking for a protege? Do you want to address that? And what are we looking for for a protege?
Sure. So the first thing I would say is, the laboratory is very diverse and really has its supply chain needs are pretty broad. The Mentor Protege program is going to be one of our tools to help us meet our needs. In this case, this particular tool, we really want to focus it on those partners that would really are more directly connected to our mission space. Partners that will bring in unique capabilities that are difficult even for us to do, that bring a rate of innovation that that they could be more responsive, they could be more agile because of their size, and frankly, they have a core group of people that bring ideas to the table that maybe we as a larger institution, burdened by our own size and bureaucracy, sometimes are not capable of doing. So although we are a research and development organization, you'll be surprised. There are a lot of pockets of areas where we could use innovation from industry outside of our fence. And so that's what we're looking for. It's really more, to me, I think the priority for the Mentor Protege program is, can we find mission partners, those that can support our R&D capabilities, that can support our innovation, high-tech innovation in areas like cybersecurity, in other areas of security, nuclear non-proliferation, unique detection equipment, you need instrumentation and controls, kind of the leading edge technology companies, I think will be the most attractive, I think, for a mentor protege program. Not to say that we don't partner with others for all the other needs, right? Because again, the needs don't go away, and we're not interested in bringing in small businesses to help us across the entire breadth of needs. It's just that in the mentor protege, where you get the opportunity to maybe partner with 1, 2, or maybe 3 companies if the opportunities are right, you want to focus them on the area where you could leverage very unique capabilities to advance the mission of the lab.
Perfect. I like that. We want a company that's going to come in and help us innovate as we tackle some of this advanced nuclear and some of this exciting mission work that we have coming in. I think that that's a great direction for folks that are interested in having a protege.
And I would offer, Stacy, that it's not a one-way street, right? It's also a company that would benefit from what we have to offer them as a partner, whether it be capabilities that will help them grow as an institution themselves, as a company themselves, to also giving them access to our own thinking and capabilities and help them, nourish them to even be more competitive in the marketplace.
Exactly. Yeah, good point. Good point. Michelle, you're just hanging out there. Let me ask you a question.
All right.
For those companies that maybe don't know what the requirements are to be a protege, do you want to talk kind of to some of the requirements?
Absolutely. Thank you, Stacy, and welcome attendees. So happy to have you here. We are really excited to enter into this mentor protege relationship. And so, we're looking for companies that are fairly mature, that really have established a business presence. And, we're looking for them not only how they can grow in the 2 years duration of the mentor protege agreement, but how can they continue to support us in our future. And so, as Juan mentioned, we're looking for a lasting relationship with a company that is really growing, thriving, and can be partners in innovation. Now, the program itself is sponsored by the DOE Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business. So, there's some requirements. It's open to all small businesses, hub zone businesses, 8A, women-owned, and service disabled. So those are the types of businesses that can participate, and you have to be eligible to receive government contracts. So I hope everybody's familiar with the GSA debarred list or restricted parties list. You can't be on that list. You have to have been in business for at least 2 years, and you need to be able to certify as a small business. So in your application, when you submit that, you'll identify the area that you want to be mentored in. And when you do that, you need to make sure that you qualify as a small business in that specific area. And the other requirement is that you cannot have an existing DOE mentor protege agreement in place. Now, the rules are changing a little bit in those areas, and so Stacy is continually watching those, and she'll provide any updates. And I know one of the areas they're looking at is, not having another DOE mentor protege program in place. So, we're watching those. It has not changed yet, but, we anticipate that might be something that does change in the future.
Yeah, that's a good point, Michelle. And there's more specific details. We're getting a couple questions in the question section, so I'm going to throw the answers in here now. There's a question, is it only for small disadvantaged businesses or small businesses eligible? And a couple of years ago, they went to an all small program. So all small businesses are eligible to participate. And if you want more information on that, you can also check out the Small Business Administration's webpage on Mentor Protege. DOE is following the Small Business Administration's rules and guidelines for the Mentor Protege program now. It used to be separate, and now they've merged those two programs. So it may be beneficial to look at both the DOE website for Mentor Protege, as well as the Small Business Administration's page for if you have specific questions on eligibility and those kind of things. Another question that we have is, can the protege apply by themselves, or does there have to be a mentor? BEA will be the mentor for this one. So the protege would apply for help that BEA can supply to them and mentor them through that program. So let me see what other questions we have here. So Michelle, this is back to you. Can you define a little bit how we're going to manage the logistics of the agreement? Maybe the contractual aspects of it versus the mentoring aspects of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so when we enter into and select the protege, we'll actually sign a formal mentor-protege agreement. And that really outlines, what's expected from both parties. The small business protege that's selected will have obligations, and BEA will also have obligations. Again, as Juan mentioned, you're going to get access to experts. And so that agreement will be established, and Stacy is the BEA Small Business Program Manager. She'll manage that agreement. And, we hope, again, that this builds a lasting partnership. With the agreement, mentor-protege agreement itself, we'll also have standalone contracts to perform actual work. So those will be in addition to the mentor-protege. So as we're growing the capabilities of that protege and they're ready to take on maybe some work that might be a little bit of a stretch, we'll also enter into formal contracts with that protege. Now, those contracts will be managed by a contract specialist on the acquisition and contracts management team. And that person will be really closely coordinated with Stacy, understanding what's going on in the mentoring aspect of the mentor-protege agreement. So, the company that is selected can look forward to, multiple contract types, but only one mentor-protege agreement.
Okay, perfect. Let me see. Juan, we're getting this question, and I'm going to throw it to you. We've got it several different times, so I'm going to toss this one to you. Are we looking to put just one agreement in place, or are we open to more?
We are open to more. This to us, we look at it as an opportunity, right? And depending what's in front of us, obviously there's a limit. I would say that when I say more, then maybe 2 or 3 total at most, because at some point, our own resources and ability to provide the quality mentoring that I think a protege needs gets limited because of our own resources and our own expertise to be able to support those businesses. So we are not stuck on saying that we're only going to do one. We're hoping to start with one, but we're keeping our minds open depending on the capabilities and frankly the creativity and innovation that comes to the table. That it may be so attractive that I think we want to make that investment, or maybe having a second or even a third partner that we engage in. I think anything beyond 3 probably would be too much of a stretch. So that to me becomes almost like an upper threshold of how much are we capable of doing in the mentor protege. Again, we may end up with maybe 1 or 2 companies in a mentor protege, but it doesn't mean that we don't see opportunities to partner from the applicants, that we will partner in other ways, right? Or engage them in other.
Yeah, thank you. Do you want to talk about, are we looking for somebody to have a local presence? Are we going to provide a preference to local, or is it open across the nation?
So it's open across the nation. I think one of the things we've learned, especially during COVID-19, is technology has been has advanced enough that it makes it very easy to do a lot of collaboration and work together remotely. Obviously local companies in some ways have some advantage, right? Because they're local, they're more accessible, and they may even be more familiar with our business than maybe a company that has never had the opportunity to work with the Idaho National Laboratory. But we're going into this with a very open mind, right? We're looking for the best capabilities, and that we think it's a good fit for the laboratory, and it's a good fit for what we could do for them. I mean, so again, I look at it as a two-way street. This is a partnership, and we see the Manor Protege as a tool to build a strategic partnership that, if we do it right, it goes beyond the 2 years, and it becomes a long-standing partnership that benefits both institutions.
Yep, I agree with you. I think that's, if you put more than 3 in place, I'm going to be maxed out. I'm just going to throw that out there. This resource will be limited. So not that we can't draw back in further and get additional resources, but that causes me to have heart palpitations just a little bit. So I'm glad you kind of put an upper limit on that, so I don't have to panic today. As part of the mentoring activities that we go through, there's the program administration piece that I will take care of, but there's also that champion piece that we identify from within the program to work the technical side, right? Because I'm not an engineer by trade, I'm not an IT specialist by any means. So how does that champion? What's that role of the champion in our agreements?
Well, I think, the words almost kind of implies it. For us, we look at a champion inside the program that will be the primary partner and benefactor of the relationship at the Idaho National Laboratory. And they're the ones that have the technical expertise, and we expect them to engage in a positive partnership with the small business to really work on those technical outcomes that we want out of our relationship, and what technical capabilities we want to continue to build inside the small business. Because it's not just, again, to me, it's not a transaction. I make widgets, and we just make a relationship so that you buy the widgets from me. We have other ways to doing that. This is about that maybe you do widgets today, but we build it into a more diverse portfolio of widgets and capabilities, and your innovation drives our innovation inside our own company. So that's kind of how we're looking at it. The champion, to me, is a key player. And we're going to put a lot of effort in making sure we select a good champion for those that are protege, because they could make or break, frankly, that relationship, right? They need to be committed to the small business as much as they're committed to the INL. And that's what we need. We need the right attitude and people with the right capabilities to manage that relationship.
Yeah, the champion is key to the success of the agreement, and we have been socializing internally that we're going to be putting a mentor protege agreement in place, so it won't be a surprise to the programs when we go out and take the applications out to them and start reviewing them and looking for engagement from a champion. So it won't be a surprise to them for folks that may be panicking, going, well, how are they going to find a champion? We're already working that internally. Let's see, let's pull a couple more questions from those that are coming in. We're a small service disabled hub zone and currently work with INL. We have an MP under another lab. Evie, my understanding is that you can only have one in place at a time, and that it's limited to one mentor protege for a lifetime. Now, I did read something yesterday that said they're changing that to 2 mentor protege agreements for a lifetime, but it's my understanding from reading the regulations that it's one and done, and not 3 at a time. So maybe I'll reach out to Mark Lochbaum at DOE headquarters and find out if that's actually the case, and then I'll let you know.
Stacey, can I ask you a question, not to put you on the spot, but make it lively?
Well, sure.
Can the small businesses partner with each other and form a separate entity to engage in a mentor project? In other words, does it have to be one unique company with the Battelle Energy Alliance, or can multiple small businesses that share a common interest build a consortium or something equivalent, and that becomes the protege?
Well, that's a hard question to answer, Juan, because it's my understanding they would have to form some kind of a joint venture, but that the agreement could be awarded to a joint venture. And again, that's something that we're going to work very closely with the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization as we put these agreements in place to make sure that we're meeting all the regulations and we've got all of those covered. But it's my understanding that they could put in a joint venture, establish a joint venture and have it awarded to that.
That's good.
So yeah, thanks for the question. Let's see. We answered the question on how many agreements will be made, probably 1 to 3. The other thing to note on that is that we plan on opening up another application period next June. So we plan on doing kind of a rolling application period every June to be able to start a new agreement at the beginning of each fiscal year, so that every 2 years we would have a protege that would be graduating. And so we'd have a continuous rolling program. So that might help folks too. If you're not fully qualified for this one, maybe you haven't been in business quite 2 years, or some that would give you the opportunity to participate in the next one.
Stacey, do you want me to talk a little bit about, what happens when the application period closes?
Sure, that'd be great. And I'll scroll
Okay.
through these other questions as you're doing that. Thanks.
All right, perfect, great. Okay, so, as Stacey mentioned, the application is open right now. And when that closes, we'll have an evaluation team on the BEA side. So we'll look at those NAICS codes where you identified that in your application that you would like to perform under, and we'll align those with our mission areas. And then in each of those mission areas, there will be a team that will evaluate the protege submittals. And, they're looking for, again, those creative approaches, a lot of synergy. How can we build the strong partnership to spawn the innovation? Now, once we actually select the protege and reach agreement internally, then we will share that with our DOE Idaho customer to make sure that they're aligned. And then we also will gain approval from the DOE Office of Small Business Utilization at headquarters. So I just share that with you, that there's a couple of steps that we do internally and with DOE to actually formalize that before we enter and sign the mentor protege agreement with the selected protege. And as Stacey mentioned, we're timing these applications with the idea that we'll be able to put the mentor protege agreement in place for the start of FY 22, which starts on October 1 of 2021.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. Juan, we're getting asked this question a lot, so I'm going to throw it back to you for maybe further clarification on, are there specific areas that we're looking for? Like, do we have a preference for engineering? Do we have a preference for information technology? Is there a preference area that we're looking for, or to narrow it down, folks are wondering if there's a specific niche area that we're looking for.
So there's not a specific niche area. It's more areas where we think we could find good partners in. Frankly, I don't want to limit the opportunity for small businesses that have great ideas and could be a great partner that could play in a mission area. And I haven't even thought of the particular niche area that I may need help in, right? So I think we're looking at, obviously, if you look at our mission space, right, we're in the both maintaining the current fleet of reactors, developing the next generation of advanced reactors, including demonstrations. We work on fuels and materials development for harsh environments. So there's advanced manufacturing is an area where we do a lot of work in. We do a lot of work in critical infrastructure and critical infrastructure protection, in particular in that cyber physical interface, cybersecurity of operational technology. Less about, I think if I was to be looking for a partner, it would be less about cybersecurity of my IT systems. I think there are a lot of companies out there that are well established, and I think we have a relationship with those. I'm focused more on technology development and technology support to operational technologies like SCADA systems, grid control, those kind of things that it's more in our mission space. We do a lot in the clean energy. The laboratory just announced that we want to go net zero in the next 10 years or so. So part of the challenge is how do we embark on moving to net zero? What technologies can we bring to our own? A good example is we have a bus fleet of about 80 buses. Those buses today are, powered by either diesel or biodiesel, and we're looking at how do we demonstrate technologies that whether it be hydrogen powered or some type of hybrid energy powered, whether between electrical and hydrogen fuel cells, that would allow us to move those buses to be a more of a zero emission vehicle. And if we're able to demonstrate that technology, then we want to embark in getting the GSA to acquire those vehicles for us. So net zero is going to present an interesting challenge for the laboratory, that there may be a partner out there that has great ideas and technologies that they're developing, and it's a business that they're in, whether it be controllers or just the actual technology itself, that we could partner and become a great demonstration site for that technology and a consumer. But then that could help that company continue to grow, because now they have the benefit of a national laboratory as its demo site. So those are some of the ideas, Stacy. Obviously, I could see the value of telling you, okay, I'm looking for a one-off prototype manufacturer that develops, they could manufacture with unique materials, very special objects, etc. But I don't want to limit myself, because frankly, I'm looking for that innovation, and you all have such great ideas that I want that to infuse even greater ideas here at the laboratory.
Mm-hmm. Great input. Do you maybe want to talk a minute or two about the difference between the Mentor Protege program and what we're doing, and tech deployment and the technical assistance program, just to clarify those up?
Sure. I mean, and as I mentioned, the Mentor Protege is one tool in our toolbox of how we could meet the supply chain needs. And frankly, when we talk about meeting the supply chain need, again, it's not just what do I need to go buy to get my thing done, but also we want to build a resilient supply chain, right? That it's reliable, that is secured, and that we're managing the risk from, because of the nature of the work we do, right? A lot of our work is NQA1 in the nuclear space, or it deals with has a lot of security implications in the application. So the other programs mentioned, the technical assistance program or technology development or deployment, are other programs where we engage and partner with different businesses. In the case of technology deployment, it's really about how do we partner to meet a need of industry, whether it be by licensing a technology that we developed, intellectual property that we have that could be a benefit to a particular company, or it could be about a cooperative research and development where we could cooperate on a research where there's kind of skin in the game from both parties to advance the development and technology that benefits the nation and benefits that individual company. There could be where we just do work with them or provide them knowledge. On the case of technical assistance, it's a more narrowly defined program, typically focused on businesses and in particular small business, if possible, local communities, to assist them with a technical problem where the lab can make available up to 40 hours of free of charge, I believe, technical assistance that allows us to help them solve, kind of get over the hump. And so it's kind of one of those benefits. So if you have a national lab, is there a way that I could get some technical assistance? 40 hours is not a long time. So you're really looking for a technical support that could get someone over the hump. A good example, right now we're entertaining a request for technical assistance from the Shoshone Bannock tribe, which is one of our neighbors, right? We operate in their lands, and they need help in kind of developing the architecture of the future for their bandwidth, for the infrastructure for the bandwidth throughout the Fort Hall reservation. And one of the things that they ask our technical assistance on is in helping map the current condition. You know, how do we get our arms around what we have today, which has been a patchwork of effort throughout a couple of decades, right? And it's just a web of confusion. So getting that cleared up, because knowing what they got can then help them moving forward, what strategically they want to do in the future. So those are the kind of things that the technical assistance program does. While in the Mentor Protege, we're actually working hand in hand with a small business provider, build their capabilities, and in helping us build capabilities or deliver capabilities to us. Mm-hmm. And it's that common innovation and what we hope, right, is that we're not the sole provider of revenue to this small business. And in fact, that's why one of the requirements is that they have to be established for 2 years, because what we want to do is we become a catalyst for the growth of this small business, not only with work with the INL, but they're now able to go and maybe put their foot in the door inside Los Alamos or Sandia National Labs or other government agencies because of the work that they've done with the INL.
Great. Let's see, there was a question here. Are there existing proteges for BEA? We currently do not have any agreements in place. That's why we're looking forward to putting 1, potentially up to 3 in place. But like I said, we will be doing this for the next couple of years too. So we will be getting some put in place. It looks like we may have answered the majority of the questions. Some of them were kind of redundant, and I think that we've answered those. Michelle Goff, do you see anything that I've missed? Just a little bit of, oh, this one just came in over my cell phone, Juan, and I think it's perfect for you. So you have no idea what I'm about to ask, because it just popped in on my phone, but it's perfect. And I think it's something that needs to be covered. Can you talk a little bit about our core values and how those are going to maybe factor into decision making and having our subs match those core values?
Oh, excellent. So, you know, the INL, as far as core values, we value teamwork, right? We value excellence, integrity, we value inclusivity, and so we value safety. So when I look at the core values of the INL, one of the good benefits, one of the requirements that I like about the Mentor Protege, the fact that the company has to be established for 2 years, is that frankly it gives us an opportunity to better understand if the company aligns with us. So when we talk about alignment, right, it's not just about can you sell me what I need and I can buy, but it's also about can we be a good strategic partner. And I don't think I would seek to be a strategic partner with a company that doesn't share common values. So I think that would be a consideration. Is this a company that we could work with, that we could trust, the values, the kind of things that we value? Because we're looking for, again, a strategic partnership. It's not a transaction. And there are other ways. If we just want to engage in a transaction, I want to buy widget A from you, you know, Michelle has plenty of ways for us to get that, right? I think what we're looking for is a very unique relationship here. That's what we see the Mentor Protege, that again, it's a two-way street. It benefits both parties. It's a win-win, but it's a strategic, and part of that strategic is, do we connect as partners? And part of connecting as partners is, do we share common values? And so that's the way I would kind of lay it out.
That's great, and I think those core values are so important, and so thank you, and thanks to Amy for sending that over to me. There, I just let the cat out of the bag as to who it was. There's a couple, 3 questions on here, and frankly, folks, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know the answers to them, and so I'm going to have to do some research. Like, would a teaming arrangement work? Juan addressed that, but I'm not sure of the exact answer, and so I don't want to give you wrong information. So I will do some research and I will get that question answered. Another one is, again, is there a specific NAICS code that we're looking for? We are not. We are wide open. The other one is about the merger of the SBA program and the DOE program. That's being questioned as well. What I read yesterday said they'd been merged. So again, I'm going to get a hold of Mark. I'm going to find out for sure what that answer is. And then I will let that know. We'll let you know. Probably what I will do to answer those questions is I will put a Q&A out on the opportunities portal where the application is located. I'll just add an attachment out there that addresses those questions that I'm unable to answer this morning, because I don't want to mislead you. I don't want to give you the wrong information. I want to make sure it's right. And so I'm just asking for give me a little bit of time today to get some answers from Mark if I can get a hold of him, and I will post that out there. Looks like we have a few more questions coming in. Let me take a quick look at those. Michelle, I'm going to toss this one to you. You kind of addressed it already, and so maybe you can expand on it a little bit, but how are the applications going to be evaluated?
Okay, so we'll take the applications that come in and really using that champion and other technical staff from that mission area, understanding what they are really looking for in a partner to grow, and then really the full complement of capabilities that protege demonstrates in their application. You know, what are the areas that you're looking for mentorship in? So that team will select those, and then we'll look between, you know, because we anticipate having them on multiple functional areas, and so then we're going to have to take, you know, what we believe to be the top applicants across the various mission areas and make a decision, you know, do we have one that rises above the others? Or are we going to give, you know, fulfill Stacy's dream and award 3? So, you know, again, there's no predefined answer, but that will be the process that we look at. And at that point in time, you know, we'll look and decide, can we handle more than one? You know, I can tell you that from the BEA, we take the mentor protege very seriously, and we will dedicate resources to do this and to help the protege grow. So we don't want to get in over our heads on the first one, but, you know, we'll look and see, hey, what's the right number for us? But they will be evaluating them so that, you know, the alignment is important. What you put in your application is equally as important.
And I think it's real important to emphasize that the program is going to be very instrumental in helping to select the protege, because they're going to know what their needs are within the program and how what the protege's needs are aligned with what the mission needs are. And so they're going to be a very key partner in making that final evaluation. Are there financial considerations to take into place? As a small business, we're not all flush with cash if we have large amounts of it sitting around. Do any of us? We invest in our research, etc., as we grow. There are a couple of financial questions, I think, on the application, but there's not any financial requirements really that we take into consideration. So we understand the cash flow of a small business. So.
Stacey, could I add one thing on that? Is,
Absolutely.
you know, I think that when businesses are applying, they need to consider that, because, you know, as we're providing resources to help the mentoring, there has to be people on the protege side willing to receive that information, coordinate with them, attend meetings, you know, look at, you know, what are the specific areas where you do want mentoring and growth, and really what is our defined action plan, what actions would we take? So it does require resources on that. And so I think people need to know it, and that really depends on what type of mentoring happens, but there will likely be a level of financial commitment that the protege needs to make to be able to implement the information or recommendations that we provide through the mentoring.
Exactly. Very, thank you for that. There's some questions being asked about where the actual application is located. If you go to procurement.inl.gov and click on the Opportunities tab, that's on the on there. It's under Current Opportunities, and it's highlighted. It says INL Mentor Protege. Let me pull it back up. I just pulled the application down and put it in the questions. It's under Current Opportunities, and that application is down at the bottom. So the application that you need to send in, and you need to make sure it's the right one. It's the 1.mpp_application.doc, and you can download that application from there. You need to download the application from that website because there's some specialized information that I've added in there that's different than what the DOE application is. So this one is specific to INL, and you'll know that because the person to submit it to on the bottom, on the very last page at the very bottom, is me. And so if you don't see my name at the bottom of it, you're sending it to the wrong place because it has to come to me. And if you have trouble locating that document, please just send me an email. Michelle Goff, will you please drop my email address in the chat? I can multitask to a certain degree, but that's a different screen. I don't want to screw that one up. So make sure that those applications come to me. And again, that's where I'll be posting the Q&A. So I think that we have about answered all the questions that have come in. And we've pretty much covered the questions that we had identified in advance to get ready for this. So let me check the questions one more time. I got to find that screen again. I lost it. There's one more here. It's a question on the joint venture and forming a joint venture to go after specific opportunities. And John, I'm going to have to find out more the concrete answer on that one. So watch for that to be answered in that Q&A that I'm going to post with that opportunities. I'll try and get that up either late today or tomorrow, depending on if I can get a hold of DOE headquarters and get some answers on some of these specifics. So I think that's the last one to come in. So Michelle and Juan, I want to thank you for your time in spending some time with us this morning and addressing the questions. I think it's exciting that we're putting an agreement in place. I'm excited about 3. If you give me more than that, I'm going to be asking for more resources. So just be ready, Juan, right? I'm coming to you. I'm going to say, help me. help me. But I think it's really exciting, and I like the approach that we're taking this year, to not go into it within a specific area, but really to open up and look for the innovation that the small businesses can bring to us in their application and how that can support our mission areas. So for the small businesses that are out there wondering if they should apply or not, or if they have, really take a look through the INL.gov website. There's a ton of information out there on our mission areas in detail, and that will really help you to narrow in and make that decision on, does your company fit with what INL mission needs are? Or is maybe this an opportunity you should pass on because you don't quite align? So make sure that you do your research, do your homework, really understand what INL mission areas are and how you fit as a strategic partner within those mission areas. I think that's really key. So again, if you have any questions, just send me an email, stacy.francis@inl.gov. And I promise to get some questions and answers out there. And again, Michelle and Juan, thank you for participating. We did have 110 people attend today, so that's exciting. That's better than only having 8 who are interested in a mentor protege agreement, right? So I think we had a good audience. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Everybody be safe and enjoy your day.